These here are Black Shark's new gaming earbuds. They're called the Lucifer T1s with 55 milliseconds of latency, 10mm drivers, and dual mode. So they've got the gaming mode with that low latency, and then a music mode with them. Built-in microphones, IPX4 water resistance, and they do have 3.5 hours of run time, and an additional 35 from the case. So are they worth the price tag? Are they any good? And do you actually notice that low latency when gaming? Well, I'll let you know in this in-depth review. Also included in the box, you'll find 2 large silicone tips. They do have the mediums already applied to the earbuds themselves. Then we get 2 small tips, a Type-C to Type-A cable. Now, charge time is 1.5 hours. A Black Shark support card with email addresses and warranty information, and then a Black Shark user manual. And our case here, which does have a bit of a gamer kind of look to it. So the case top, this part here is transparent. It's using a quality ABS plastic, and you can see the 2 earbud lights on inside. Now, when they go out, that means they are fully charged. So they're currently charging at the moment. It just weighs 42 grams, the whole case with the earbuds inside them. The earbuds themselves are approximately 4.5 grams, so they're lightweight, and I get onto the comfort of what they like to wear them. So this lifts up, it's held in place with a magnet there, and it will sit up and it doesn't rattle around the case. You can see the lights flashing, so as soon as you lift it up, they'll start to connect, and they do run on Bluetooth 5.2. Clearly labeled left and right, and you can see more of those lights. There's the green light at the front, keeping with the Black Shark theme there with the black and green. So just on the back here, we have our Type-C port, and then we've got all the markings on the rear of it that you'd normally see on these cases. So battery capacity of this one, the case is 400 milliamp hours, and then 40 in each of the earbuds. So they will last for 3.5 hours, and you do get up to 35 hours, including the case. The build quality of the buds themselves is very good. You can see the Black Shark logo there. We've got the LED on the side, and this is where the touch surface is. The touch controls, like most of these TWS earbuds, can sometimes be a little bit hit and miss. I have not come across ones with capacitive touch that work 100% of the time. It's about 9 or 8 times out of 10 when I tap it, it is going to continue or pause the playback. Touch controls are all in the manual there of how it works. It's pretty straightforward, like similar to other ones. And here we'll find our microphone that's right at the tip there. So there's a microphone in each of the earbuds. Now they can work independently as it does support Bluetooth 5.2, dual mode, and the silicone tip on this one, no problems with it. It hasn't softened up now after using this for a week, no problems with it. And as I mentioned, I do find them to be quite comfortable. So quality plastics, there's no sharp edges or anything like that. You can see the Pogo port connector right there. Okay, so that's where it connects up, of course, and uses that to charge, which is about 1 hour for the earbuds and an hour and a half for the case. Now, the connection time with these is almost instantaneous. It's literally about a second using Bluetooth 5.2 that it does connect up very quick here. Jumping into my settings with Bluetooth, depends of course on your phone, but I do like the way that MIUI handles Bluetooth connections here and your audio. I can see that it is running the AAC codec listed right here. Now I can change that over through the options here if I wanted to. I could disable AAC and then use the SBC codec, which wouldn't be as high of quality and wouldn't sound quite as good. So I recommend that you do use AAC if you have that option, of course, with these. Now, they don't support aptX, and you can see my remaining battery life, depending again on your phone, it should be shown too as well. I can see I have 100%. Just how do the Lucifer T1s sound from Black Shark? So, very powerful bass. I could have guessed this to start with, that gaming earbuds, they would probably push a tune that is leaning towards more punchy bass and the lows, right? Well, using Power Amp, which is my media player of choice here, you can definitely hear that. Using a flat equalizer, okay, I always do that for my reviews, of course, to make sure that I'm just listening to how they are out of the box without tweaking the lows or the highs and the mids and anything. Powerful bass. At times, depending on the genre of music, I do find sometimes it's a little bit over the top. Now, watching a few movies with heavy bass explosions and things like that, again, at times the bass, I would personally probably tone it down a little bit. The mids are fine. Vocals come out okay, like listening to genres like rock currently at the moment with our lead singer, I do find is good. But where it is definitely lacking a little bit would be, for me, just some of the highs that come through and not as crisp as other TWS earbuds that would have what I would call a more balanced tune to them. This is definitely very leaning towards heavy bass, hard-hitting bass. So if you like your big bass, you will be happy with the 10mm drivers in these and the way they are tuned out of the box. Now, this is where you definitely notice it is the sound is almost, in fact it is, it's instant. I can't distinguish the difference between having the phone speakers on and even using 3.5mm headphones. It's exactly the same here with gaming. It just sounds spot on. There's zero lag when gaming that I can pick up on. It's just not there. With this chipset and this phone here, the K30 Pro Zoom, it's just indistinguishable, the difference between using wired and wireless. So that's a huge positive. If you game a lot, then you will notice that the lag on these TWS earbuds from Black Shark, super good. Another thing to point out is the volume. It can go super loud, really loud. You can pump up that volume, and the deep bass does make the gaming here immersive. Watching movies, YouTube, and other streaming content is all perfect on this. It is in sync, 100% perfect, matches people's lips. So it's not lagging behind, which is great to see. So you don't only just get that benefit with games, but also with the streaming content here. Microphone sample now. So I do find that the Lucifer T1s here have reasonably good mics, much better than the last set of TWS earbuds that I reviewed, which were shockers, really bad. So the other end can hear you. At times I've noticed the volume may be a little bit too loud on the microphones. There is no ambient or background noise cancellation with these mics, but you can be heard clearly in calls and also gaming as well for a game like PUBG. Now onto the comfort of wearing them. They are very light, so I don't have any problems with wearing these for extended periods, and they don't apply any over-the-top pressure to my inner ear or around my ears that they will become uncomfortable after gaming for hours. So once they're fitted, I find that they're not too big, they're not too bulky. The touch controls, as I mentioned, that sometimes are a little bit hit and miss. I go to tap it and nothing happens and I have to repeat it. That only seems to happen about, well, maybe 10% of the time when using this. So the battery run time, 3.5 hours is their claim, and I'm getting just over 3. So it's going to depend on your volume and genre of music, of course. That is normal. Now disconnections, no problems with it at all, and range is your typical Bluetooth 5 range, so I get around 8 to 10 meters away from my phone before one of these will then start to break up and lose connection there completely with it. So the strengths of the Lucifer T1s here are that latency gaming mode. Low latency mode, the 55 milliseconds means that in games, as I noticed with PUBG, that when you fire one of the guns, it's instantaneous. You get the sound come through just like that, okay? There is no lag that I'm detecting with my Snapdragon 865 phone that I am using. No problems, that's really good there. Now the music mode definitely has quite loud punchy bass. The 10mm drivers do deliver in that area. The lows very deep, and sometimes for my ears at least, it can be a little bit overpowering on the content that you're listening to. Movies especially, with a big explosion or those rumble noises that they like to add to give us more immersion in those movies, can sometimes for me just be a little bit overpowering. Vocals are okay. The highs are the weakness with the sound, the tune of these out of the box, that it's not quite as crisp as other TWS tech that I've heard, but really for the price you cannot complain at all with the way these sound. I do think they sound very good. It's all about that low latency, that gaming mode. So if you game a lot, definitely that's a reason to go for these, because you don't get any of that terrible lag that can sometimes destroy even, say, Netflix or Amazon Prime Video, when you've got people talking away and you can look at it, and it just definitely bugs me. When I see that lag, I'm looking at their faces going, oh, it's lagging, it's out of sync. Not going to happen with these ones at all. Now the microphones, just one on either side. There is no active noise cancellation, but a pleasant surprise that they are acceptable quality for games and for calls, because the last few sets of TWS earbuds that I've reviewed have been more expensive than these, the Black Shark Lucifer T1s, but had extremely poor microphones. So it's great to see that they've actually put some decent mics in here, Black Shark. So thank you so much for watching my review here of the Lucifer T1s I do hope to see you back in the next one. Bye for now.